Hey y'all, welcome back to the Hack Shack. Today I've got a holiday special for you. In this video, I'll take you on the journey I went on to spruce up a Commodore 16 as a surprise gift for my good friend, Mr. Stephen Combs, aka Retro Combs on YouTube. I know he has a +4, so he's not a hater of the TED series, and I don't think he has a C16, and hopefully he wouldn't mind adding a C16 to his collection. So we'll see. So stay tuned to see everything we did. So by the time I decided to take on this project, it was already operational through working around with some other chips and things I'd had in the past. So I really wanted to look at the cosmetics first, and this keyboard was bugging me. I wanted to clean it up, clean up under the keys, and I was hoping that some soap and water would maybe get those keys looking better. So first things first, you got to get the keyboard out here. So as you can see here, there's a fair bit of yellowing. And so now it's time to pop the keys off. I know this is not the right tool for the job, but it seemed to work. I have ordered one of these, and hopefully it'll be here soon. So the next time I do a project like this, I can have something that's a little more elegant. This is also like the first chance to really look and see how gross that is up under all those keys. I prepared some hot soapy water and put the keys in, agitated them around a good bit. Really tried to work them over, see if I could get all the dirt and grime off of them, and hoping maybe some of that discoloration was something I could wash off. But after I got them out, that did not seem to be the case here. Now this next key is probably the worst one, so I kind of took a picture of it to let it be the benchmark to see if I could improve that any. Now, I've never really RetroBrighted anything before, but I had some regular 3% peroxide, so I figured I'd give that a shot with the keys and maybe sit it in a bath of hot water from my kitchen sink just to see what that would do. And it's probably not ideal for a constant temperature. I basically put it in the sink and kept topping it off with the hot water every once in a while, which in that scenario, it cools off relatively quickly. The hot water at its peak out of the faucet in the kitchen was probably 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So I did that for a little while. And then I remembered I had a crock pot hiding away under a cabinet. And I broke out the crock pot. Basically, it's like a water bath, but it could stay hotter and I could maintain that. Now, even on low, it would get too hot if I let it go unattended. So I would basically try to use my thermometer and make sure it didn't really get too hot. And I would just kind of agitate things around and put the lid back on it. Now, overnight, I would turn it off, and it would actually still have some heat in the morning, but I didn't let it run overnight. So while I had the keys cooking, I started working on the yucky part here, and gave it a little bit of a work over to try to clean it up with some Q-tips and isopropyl alcohol. You can check out some of these swabs. They're pretty gross. This was an eBay special, so who knows the last time it was really cleaned, if ever. But I think it turned out pretty doggone good. And then I started focusing on the case itself and just some more alcohol and some swabs, just rubbing all around it. And I don't show, but I think just use some general cleaner on it and try to get in all the nooks and crannies and get all the dust out of it. I gave the case top a similar treatment, but with a little added toothbrush action to kind of get down in those grooves that seem to collect crud. I was really trying to get this thing detailed out as best I could. The top came out pretty well too, so I think we did a pretty good job cleaning that up. So now back to the keys. I think this was about 36 hours, give or take, that we had them in the crock pot. Here I am dumping them out and rinsing them off, trying to get the peroxide all off of them before we check them out. These things look so much better. Now they are not perfect. If I would have had like a higher concentration peroxide, they probably would have come back out perfect.
This is an interesting computer.
And I'll show you in a second here, and you can compare that one key in question that was really bad compared to how it came out, and I think that it looks a lot better. Nothing too crazy exciting here, just going through and popping these keys back on. So here I've got that worst original key lined up with the after of the same key, and I just think that turned out really great. Steven, if you want to give another shot with some higher percentage peroxide, I'm game to see if we can get them any better, but I think they came out pretty darn well. The only problem I saw with any of the keys was this little crack on the space bar, but it seems to still be holding the thing there. And now here I am just attaching the keyboard back to the top part of the case. I just really think this thing turned out great. It just cleaned up super. The one on top was my other C16, and now I think the one I've been working on looks better than it. Now we're going to get into some of the electronics modifications we did. Now I only had one power supply for the two C16s, and I didn't want to give this old one to Steven because it's a little buzzy sounding. I wanted to try to give him a new one, so I found this one on Amazon. It had similar ratings. So the power supply came in, and I knew I'd have to use one of my parts bin ends to fit the jack on the C16, so I got to stripping and soldering that end on and crimping it on so it wouldn't come apart. And this is where, you have to remember this system is center negative. And of course that was not center negative when I got it, so I had to flip those around when I put the new plug on there. But I gave that a test and it seemed to work just fine, so that was not too bad. This is a much more compact power supply and probably less likely to destroy the C16. The next modification I wanted to do was to replace the 7805 voltage regulator, the one you see there with the heatsink. I wanted to replace it with a new DC to DC converter, which would be much cooler to keep the temperature down inside the case there. To do that, I had to get the shield off, and you know how that goes. That's there's nothing quick about that, but I kind of worked it over, just eventually got it to come off. And here's where I'm going back and trying to clean up some of that solder and stuff from around where I got the shield off. Here's where I remove the nut and screw and heat sink from behind the voltage regulator and begin to desolder it. Here's the new DC to DC converter going in. I was a little worried because it sits up straight, kind of proud, but there was plenty of clearance. And here I go, just soldering that into place. And after doing so, we'll give it a quick try to make sure it works. Plug it in, and I think we're good. I think I threw the diag in there. That was a successful test, thumbs up. And that was good to go. So now I'm just beginning to do just a general cleaning, trying to get the old flux off. And then I'll proceed to just go ahead and really go to town and clean things off to try to get the board as clean as I can without going too crazy. I didn't want to lean on anything too bad, and I wasn't going to do an ultrasonic cleaning or anything like that. And here you can see me cleaning off the compound from the TED chip, the CPU, and the PLA, because that was the next modification. I was going to put heat sinks on those three because those are the common failure ones, and some say it doesn't make a difference, but I think that helping get any of the heat out of those, it can't hurt anything. So after doing a little more cleaning, you'll see the next thing I do is put the heat sinks on there. Giving it a scrub across the back with some more alcohol and a toothbrush to try to get things as clean as possible here. And here I am installing those heat sinks. Now what you should be seeing here is some footage of me assembling the case and getting it all ready to go, but I had some kind of camera malfunction and lost 100% of that footage, so you'll have to take my word for it that I got it put back together. I did capture a little bit of video with my phone during the last session when I was doing the diagnostics as one final test before I boxed the thing up. So I got the system boxed up, and I had a little help getting it wrapped up, and then I took it over and hand delivered it to RetroComb's porch. Hey, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll hope to see you again next time. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Oh, wait, Steven, hold on just 1 second. So, you know, it is a TED system, so even though it worked perfectly when I put it in the box and wrapped it up, there's a chance that it might not even power on again for you. If that's the case, just let me know. Or if you want to do a 64K upgrade or anything else, let me know. I'm game. Maybe a recap. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Take care. Bye-bye.